But let's now talk about how all of these overnight cues impact our own markets and what you should track in terms of the trade setup today. We have Mangalam, Vivek, as well as Surbhi all here. Guys, a very good morning to all of you and happy festive season to everyone. But Vivek, let me come to you first. We were just going through the global setup. It's a complete risk-off across the board. Take us through what you're tracking this morning.
Well, absolutely right. Good morning to you too. Like you mentioned, the risk-off sentiment last week, like you mentioned, U.S. markets ended quite deeply in the red. Indian markets too last week actually saw a significant amount of underperformance as well. Now, like you mentioned, Friday's close across all equity markets worldwide was very weak. In fact, even crude oil prices, Brent prices too have cooled off from a 2-week high. Now, coming to Indian markets. Now, Indian markets last week, both Nifty as well as the Sensex fell over 1% each. Now, on Friday, the key point to note was the fact that the mid-cap index was the one that significantly underperformed, and market breadth on the back of that significantly worsened on Friday. And that will be the key point to watch out for, especially in this coming week, with a whole slew of results that are actually slated. Now, on Friday, FMCG stocks like ITC as well as HUL, these reacted quite negatively to the results. Along with that, you did see individual stock packs, individual sectors like city gas distribution companies, both IGL as well as MGL, on the back of new EV fears, that also underperformed quite significantly. Today, what is it that we are watching out for? Number one, Bank Nifty, very important to track, given the fact that ICICI Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank results, as well as new CEO coming in for, Kotak Mahindra Bank, very important trigger, and that'll be something that will give direction as far as the Bank Nifty is concerned. Along with that, a lot of results coming week. Today, Torrent Pharma being the key. Both the, Gift Nifty is actually indicating quite a muted start for our own markets today.
All right, Vivek, thanks a lot for taking us through all of those cues. Quite a muted start. Let's see how things really move from there. We have Surbhi now, who's going to take us through all of the stocks that we should watch. By the way, it was an earnings-heavy weekend where both ICICI and Kotak, like Vivek was pointing out, posting their earnings. Surbhi, take us through the numbers.
Hi, good morning. So apart from the big banks, we had a lot of other earnings coming through. Let's start with Kotak Bank. The earnings were ahead of the poll. It was aided by the robust business growth. Deposit growth was up 23% on a year-on-year basis. Loan growth was up nearly 19% on a year-on-year basis. And the asset quality was the best in the 33 quarters. ICICI Bank, the net interest income was up 24% on a year-on-year basis. And the net profit was up 36%. Paytm, the EBITDA improvement has continued. The total income was up 32% and the net loss came in at 292 crores versus 572 crores same time last year. JSW Energy, good set of results. Revenue was up 37%. EBITDA has nearly doubled at 1,886 crores and margins came in at 58% versus 38% same time last year. L&T Finance, the net interest margin is at an all-time high of 8.62% and the ROA is the best in 16-quarter high. It has 2.42%. Amber Enterprises, the revenue was up 24%. Margins came in at 6.4% versus nearly 5% same time last year. A lot of other companies that will react to numbers: Poonawalla FinCorp, Credit Access Grameen, RBL Bank, Suntech Realty, Rajratan Global Wires and Rosari Bio.
Okay, Surbhi, thanks a lot for catching us up on all of that action that came through over the weekend in terms of these stocks. But let's also talk about cues from the futures and options space. Mangalam, we do know that it's going to be a little bit of a muted start this morning, but take us through what we should track from there.
Well, it is the beginning of the October series expiry week as well, so that is something that we'll be watching out for. Yes, like you pointed out, there would be muted start because of global weakness. So the Gift Nifty is indicating a start mildly lower. But interestingly, what the Gift Nifty is also doing is telling you that the start is going to be around the lows that we saw in the last two trading sessions. And that's a bit positive because we have seen some purchase at the lows of around 19,500 itself. The question is whether that sustains or not. The FIIs, they sold about 630 odd crores in index futures in Friday's trading session. The longs have actually inched lower to around 26 odd percent from 29%. They unwound around 7,300 long contracts, as you can see, and the shorts have also inched mildly higher. So, there are cues of mild caution, but nothing worrisome. And same was the case in index options as well, where they sold about 8,100 odd crores. They bought a few more puts than calls and they sold a few more calls than puts. So if you just take a look at it, they sold about 1.8 lakh calls versus 1.4 lakh puts. You write more calls when you believe that the upside will face congestion. At the same time, you buy more puts than calls when you want to play a little for the downside, but it's not way too much to really worry. If you just take a look at the range that the option writers are playing for as well, 19,400 put was extremely active on Friday's trading session, as was 19,450 put. On the way up, 19,600 call and 19,650 calls were also up. what are you telling, in terms of the range, what the option writers are expecting? They expect support to be around that 19,350 to 19,400 mark, given the premia that are there on the 19,400 put, and congestion comes up around 19,600 to 19,650. And for technical reasons as well, there is congestion at that 20 and 50-day moving average, whereas there is support at the 100-day moving average of the Nifty as well. For the Nifty Bank, we'll watch out for support coming in at 43,193, and it'll be also important because 25% of the Nifty Bank, which is ICICI Bank and Kotak, will be reacting to numbers. A lot of stocks came out of F&O ban. For brevity, I'll just mention Delta Corp and names like MCX.
All right, Mangalam, thanks a lot for taking us through all of those cues. That is the trade setup as we see it this morning. But with that, it is time for our first break on the show. When we come back, like we told you, it's going to be a lot about the Nifty Bank today, with both ICICI Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank posting their second quarter numbers over the weekend. So we'll get you the fine print in just a bit.